acknowledgement. Life is basic needs playing a critical role in agriculture. The life is including phytoplankton, zooplankton, could provide in the nutrition and size. Let's go to the phytoplankton. Phytoplankton we know what is that? Spirulina, kilotoroids, thalassiosira. Zooplankton we know like artemia, goldfish. In some countries, they try to cook and moina after the one popular in the freshwater fish. All zooplankton and phytoplankton, which we use in the aquaculture, we need a good profile in the size, which are suitable with their health, and profile in the nutrition, high protein, amino acids, and fatty acids. In fish and shellfish culture, we know Argentina is number one in the world, especially in the shrimp culture. And in many countries which have the fresh water, which are in water. And in Thailand, our Department of Fisheries, we have been part in co-import in fresh water and salad water. And the last one is moina, which are popular in catfish farm. Today, I will talk about zooplankton, which is moina. To counter the zooplankton, you need phytoplankton to feed our babies with zooplankton. And to counter the phytoplankton, you need a space. And phytoplankton need the sunlight to grow, which are depend on season. In Thailand, we have a rainy season. In that time, the phytoplankton is difficult to grow. So, in some seasons also, we have contaminated with other species, such as we call it moina. But in our tank, we have a river, some where the performance of the cholera with the commercial diet yeast in terms of population growth, lifespan, and the number of the offspring. So material and methods. The moinaceae, which are available in Thailand, like live, also and industries. The price of them is 0.1 gram is around 3 to 5 US dollar. And the diet preparation, I have 3 types of the diet, which is cholera, commercial fish, and yeast. Feeding preparation, I will feed them with let's say 6 million cells per ml. And then we powder feed with the hematocytometer, and then we feed them every morning. Experimental design, I have 3 diets each, and then in every diet I have 7 replication, and I monitor them every day to count individually under microscope. And the final experiment, we will calculate the population growth by that equation. For data analysis, I use survey ANOVA, and I use the t-test to compare among treatment. And the significant level I set is p-value less than 0.05. Okay, let's move to the diet preparation. Because the diet, I have 2 diets of my experiment. The first one is cholera. The cholera, I got the pure strain from Chulalongkorn University. In this method, if somebody has a question, you can ask me behind the stage. And then I culture the cholera to feed the moina. And then another diet is the yeast, like a baked yeast. And I mix with the sugar, the source of carbon, and cornstarch. This is the 3 ingredients. I use the 2.5 gram each and mix with the then I collect and keep in the fridge. And my result was show all 3 diets, they have a maturation rate at the day 3. And if you see the average population is so high as in the commercial feed and lifespan. Observe this, the average population is highest in the commercial feed and lifespan also shortest also in the commercial feed. Let's see this, the lifespan is also in the commercial feed, which is in the commercial feed average only 5 days. The mommy will die. And in the colonna, it stay longer around 11 days. This is the population growth, this graph. The moina which feed with the commercial feed, they grow continuously like a linear. The population growth rate is grow around 58%. In the same time in Kolkata, only 53%. This is China population. It's so not significant between Kolkata and commercial feed. And there is like a higher than in the commercial feed. This is discussion. The first maturation is important in the ecosystem, and then the newborn was occurred in the day 3, which are similarly with the many reports. The last span, moina is in the carbosolam group, which can survive in the several months, and in the moina case, it can live up to 25 days. The maternal age in the moina science was so short lifespan at day 5. Why they are like that? Because the feed have a main effect to the mommy, let's say. When the mommy have many babies, like your babies take everything from mommy, and then mommy have not strong enough to have more than 5 or 6 babies, something like that. The why moina maternal have so many babies in the commercial feed? Because in that feed, I mix with the high protein and the source of the fatty acids. The protein and fatty acids have the main impact of the food stock, let's say, and reproduction of the food. They have the effect with the pregnancy and then another factors. The yeast I mix with the cornstarch and then the source of carbon is sugar. That diet is also show not very high, and then have another. Okay, in the conclusion. Now, more enough for
Okay, there was a agriculture medium.
yes.
Second one is in your some third result. You show complete line of the population. Just after this, okay, this one. Okay, they all die off. What's the reason why they die? All the people how they disappear. Third one is in Thailand, when we go and see the outlets of the pond, we can see the moina, so many huge farms of moina. But it is very difficult to see in Nepal. I always watch where moina, like Thailand, can be visible to me in this condition or not. It is very difficult to see. What could be the reason?
Okay, first question you answer first.
Yes.
Temperature, what is the temperature?
Yes, to maintain my experiment, the temperature I maintain around 27 to 30 degrees Celsius.
How much?
27
27.
to 27 to 30 degrees Celsius. And the pH of the water is 8. Maintain around 8 to 8.2 because they are growing by molting. So they need a
Okay. I didn't ask about pH, so you don't need to
Okay,
answer.
okay,
Move to next.
okay. The next question is
What is next?
why they die, right? Okay.
Why did you die?
Okay. Because my experiment, I observe also lifespan. In one culture cup, I put one moina. After hatching maybe 10 minutes, I select under microscope and put there. And then I check every day when they have a newborn. And then when they die. My experiment in each cup will terminate it. After that, die. So I collect, because I have 7 replications, I count every day. I keep out in the same day. And then I can check it's dying because of lifespan.
Is it clear? Is it clear?
No?
Not very clear.
Not very
Okay.
clear.
Okay. Let me explain. These are just a mother moina.
Okay.
Mother moina die. Their life cycle up to 11 days.
We have fresh water.
Okay.
So even in the mountain area also we have. I think the main thing is geography, right?
Geography.
Yes. Even in coastal area we have so many zooplankton. One also I saw freshwater polygon. It can survive in freshwater up to 50-50. But I'm not sure what that is for species. I think the main answer is because we have different geography in our country.
Okay. Thank you.
Practically in the retail market is very, very low. And particularly these are the fishes and their abundance relatively, there are few species they are dominating, like chica is kind of small eel, then small, it's called tengrai, is small catfish. And these are the species, some species are dominating. And some of the species, if you see in the bottom of the table, you see there are a number of the species, although their abundance is very low, but still they are, vulnerable and endangered according to the IUCN list. That means our biodiversity is highly threatened. And then we made the queries the information, our close observation with the market, so with the focus group discussion results. We found that what we have got in the fish market, farmers and focus group discussion participants said the same thing, that means the fish biodiversity is significantly reduced. And if we look at the richness, and we found that only in the southern area we have got 22 species. That means the number of the species a bit high there compared to other places. And in terms of the evenness, that means the carp should be like it is smoother. That means that we have got the evenness range is a bit even in the southern area of Bangladesh. And what are the impacts? We have tried to understand from the people what is the impacts. As I said that the people, fishers and other associated stakeholders, they unanimously said that the changes of biodiversity is very high. There is a significant impact. There is no any conclusion that biodiversity is still the previous condition. That means biodiversity is significantly changed. And there are a lot of causes and reasons due to reduction of the fish biodiversity in the river basin. There are several reasons. I have not read all these things. And impacts on the profession in terms of the while we see that the biodiversity is declining, that what is the impacts? Impacts is everywhere. Fishermen are not getting the wild fish as they were getting before. The number of the fishes and the amount of the catch they are getting is significantly reduced. That means fishermen they are also getting their losing their jobs. And if we look at what are the ways to minimizing the impacts on the river, that means impacts on the fish biodiversity, and there are several ways. The most of the common ways the participant described is about the dredging the river, and we need to dredge the river. We need to re-excavate our river with, across the country. That is one of the most important ways. And if we, I'm going to conclude my presentation. If we look at the strategies, what would be the strategies to restore the fisheries? And as I said before, the biodiversity in the open water system is significantly reduced. We need to dredge the river, and we have observation on the river connectivity, like Brahmaputra river connected with the Jamuna, and in the connection there is a huge siltation and sandbar developed, and that need to be dredged out as soon as possible. And the dredger is working in the river, but it's not effective. I think in Bangladesh we need, modern dredging system to make the effective dredging in the river system to get the river restored. And another important point, as I said before, the use of the illegal fishing gear. This is one of the gear, you see, this one. It's called China net in Bangladesh, China jal or China duari jal. It's kind of tunnel kind of net. It has got a lot of valves in two wings, and fish go into the valve and fish cannot get back, and all sorts of fish, small fish, even their eggs, fries, all are trapped in the systems. And that's how fishermen destroy the fish. Even there are some currents, these are also destroying the fish and illegal fishing. All together, fishing is destroyed. That's why we need the legal action against this kind of things, but it's difficult to enforce the action. And another important point is that the pollution, as I said before, river pollution is an important issue in Bangladesh. And definitely, to reduce the river pollution, it needs government actions, and it is not easy to do in Bangladesh, but there are a lot of ministries. Some ministries are responsible for water resources, some
will make a good environment for us, will save our water resources, aquaculture and fisheries and so on. And for this, not only Bangladesh, the associated countries, particularly Southeast Asian countries, would work together to build up a good environment, to save the water resources and to save the aquaculture and fisheries. Thank you so much.
Excellent job. Do you have any questions from the audience? Raise your hand and you can pass you the microphone. I was very impressed with a different presentation than what we've seen today here. It was very interesting to see the land cover, land use presentation. This is very similar to other parts of the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We can get the next speaker up, Professor Salam, who's going to be talking to us about unraveling the ecological impact, the effect of waste, effluents, and agricultural practices on biodiversity in major river basins of Bangladesh. My teacher friends.
We work under a project, and we are going to present 6 presentations. Already 2 have been presented, and I'm the 3rd one. So, my title is Unrevealing the Ecological Impacts, the effect of waste, effluents, and agricultural practices on biodiversity in major river basins of Bangladesh. So, although they have given some background, a little bit background from my side, we have got 3 river basins. You already know the Ganges, Padma, Brahmaputra, Jamuna, Borak, Medna basin, covering almost 90%. Earlier we have shown that 80%, but it is actually a dilemma. 90% country's land mass and supporting the hydrology, agriculture and ecology, most of the country. The basins are the home of aquatic flora and fauna, supporting aquatic biodiversity and livelihood of fishers communities. Originating from the Himalayas, these actually most of them are goes from Nepal and China and through the India, and these rivers cover 80% of irrigation in our country, drinking water and flood control. Floods, droughts, and riverbank erosion are increasing with the climate change and erratic rainfall, drought, and these sort of things, threatening ecosystem and local communities in Bangladesh, also in the regions. The basins support the agriculture, fisheries, and navigation, which is essential for our country's economy. Therefore, facing pollution in our country, we are facing lots of pollution coming from runoff, effluents, and deforestation, in the upper basin, along with the ecosystem degradation of land use and land cover changes. Also, there is some invasive species coming from abroad that also causing the problem to our ecosystem. Here you can see the map of Bangladesh. There is three different, sorry. So here you can see there are three river basins, this one, and this one. And the fish production, most of the countries' districts are relatively low fish production, but these three districts managing Jeshore and Kumilla are producing most fishes. And in this coastal area, as our Professor Farooq mentioned, the mangrove, near the mangrove, these are the moderate fish production zone, which is export oriented. Shrimp, prawn, and other fishes are produced. That is crab also. Therefore, in addition to moderate this fish, so we need to So the objective is to evaluate the effects of waste, effluents, and agricultural practices on the ecological health of the Ganges, these three river basins. The major objectives: analyze the land cover. As Professor Farooq shows, actually he illustrated that from 1990 to 2003. But here my cover is 2019, 2010, 2020. And assess water quality. Some water quality has been assessed in the field and other heavy metal analyzed in the laboratory. Evaluate the impact of invasive species in the basins that are creating problem to our native fishes. These are the basins. This is Bangladesh, and these are the rivers from Nepal, China, Bhutan, and this from India is going through the Bay of Bengal. This is our river system. These three major river systems. So it's a mix of methodology we employ. So methodology for land use, land cover. That is, we use the Google Earth engine for land use, land cover, and the data was collected from Landsat images, and it is taken from United States Geological Survey website. As I mentioned, the 2000, 2010, and 2020 images were collected, and that is pre-processed, mosaic, and processed using JavaScript application programming interface. The random forest machine learning algorithm we provided to the machine, and they classified the images and projected as maps using ArcGIS 10.8. The water quality assessment was carried out in spot, DOPS and EC. When we collected the water, we analyzed there. And the heavy metal toxicity was analyzed in the laboratory of Bangladesh Agriculture University. Audience and my team members, good afternoon and welcome to my presentation. I will talk about assessing the environmental flow of major rivers in the Ganges, Brahmaputra, Meghna Basin. I am Dr. Mustafa Amin. So what is environmental flow? Because it is a kind of hydrology, ecological thing, so I want to explain it a bit. It is the quantity and timing and quality of water flows required to sustain fresh water and restoring ecosystems, and the human livelihoods and well-being that depend on these ecosystems. But today I will talk about mainly the hydrological part, because some of my colleagues, team members have already described
equality and other ecosystem and land use change things. And I will not talk about more about this background because the previous presenter has already described the background information of our country. But actually, river flow in our country, most of the rivers in our three big river basin, Ganges, Brahmaputra and Meghna, are declining over the years. And most of the rivers are not able to maintain environmental flow. But without environmental flow, and you see most of the rivers, small rivers, the water level are decreasing both in wet season and dry season, significantly. But if you see the large rivers like Kuma, but the big rivers like Kumar, Jamuna, Brahmaputra and Tista, the water level are not decreasing. And another river basin, the Meghna river basin, the similar thing, the big rivers, they did not show any significant decreasing trend, but the small rivers, the water level are decreasing significantly. Now I show the daily river flow over last 20 years for Mahananda river. The water level are decreasing gradually, and the decreasing rate was almost constant for every month. That means water level is decreasing in all the seasons. And this figure shows the environmental flow. The blue line shows the previous decade results, and the dotted line shows the environmental flow level. And the red line shows the flow curve of recent decades. And the environmental flow level crosses here. That means 70% time of the year the environmental flow exists. But 30% time of the year the river cannot maintain environmental river flow. And I am showing another river, Old Brahmaputra river. The same thing happened, the water level is decreasing gradually, and the water level decreasing almost equally in every month over the last 20 years. And here the environmental flow levels crosses here. That means almost 25% of the time of a year the river is not able to maintain environmental flow for its ecosystem. And this is another river. This clearly shows that the water level is decreasing gradually the last 20 years, and the water level is decreasing almost similarly for all the months. And here the environmental flow level crosses here. That means almost 40% time of the year there is no water to maintain environmental flow in the river. So in conclusion, both annual maximum and minimum river stage in most of the rivers show declining trends. The maximum water level in 40 rivers show a significant decreasing trend. And the previous decades period had a considerably lower water level than the previous decade. And this decreasing rate was similar for all the months, not only dry season. Sometimes the irrigation water pumping is blamed for this water level decreasing, but we see from the study that the decreasing rate is similar over the years for all the months. And minor rivers are more affected than large rivers because weak connectivity with their sources. Because the connectivity between the small rivers and large rivers are lost due to sedimentation, man-made obstructions, and some other issues. And the small rivers are more exploited than the large ones. And another important finding was the tidal Meghna River had higher water levels in the recent decades, possibly because of climate change-induced sea level rise. And most rivers cannot maintain the same annual flow threshold in the two subsequent decades. So, finally, we need what we can do for a sustainable ecosystem. We need to store more surface water, and we have to find some way to rainwater harvesting. And maintaining a threshold groundwater level is needed because groundwater acts as a buffer. And re-excavation of canals and regular dredging of small rivers with proper maintenance of the dredge materials, because the dredge material sometimes creates a problem. And location specific and ecosystem-based intervention is needed. And restoration of dead rivers are needed. Controlled water extraction during the minimum flow period should be maintained. Efficient use of water, watershed scale plans, and integrated water resource management approach should be implemented. And transboundary river management and addressing sea level rise is also important. So finally, I want to acknowledge FAO, BAU, Department of Fisheries, my team members, and also the conference organizer. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much. We again don't have time for questions, so we can go to the second to last talk of the session for today.
Good afternoon, respected chair and dear participants. After the presentation from my learned colleagues on the technical issues, I'm going to talk about some social issues like reforming the fisheries extension services in Bangladesh for sustainable fisheries sector development. So on behalf of the team, this is Professor Asaduzzaman Sarkar, a Professor of Agricultural Extension Education from Bangladesh Agriculture University, going to present the mentioned topic. Why fisheries is very important for Bangladesh? So Bangladesh is a very small country in South Asia. In such a small country, 170 million people are just struggling for their food, and fish is the main source of animal protein, and this is the part of our daily meal. That's why this is very important for our food security and livelihood as well. And if you observe that the contribution of the fishery sector in our GDP is more than 2%, though the growth of fishery sector is a bit declining, but still it has some importance for our economy and food security for huge population. So what about the fisheries sector in Bangladesh? If you see that we have the inland capture, which covers almost 20%. We have you have already get the information that we have lots of rivers and it's a riverine country. We have floodplains, lakes, so many water bodies. So we produce 28% fishes from the inland, and we have the Bay of Bengal. This is the source of marine fishes, and it supplies 15% of our fish capture. But the major fish production actually is practicing by the fish farmers, and this is called the farm production and aquaculture, and this is cover more than 57%. So for this great contribution aquaculture. Bangladesh stands third next to India and China in fish production, and you can see in 2020 our production was 1.25 million metric ton, but our fish production is still not satisfactory, though we have the Bay of Bengal. And under the Ministry of Fisheries and Livestock, Department of Fisheries, this is called DOF, the leading extension organization for promoting the fish farming in Bangladesh, and their extension services play a very crucial role in fisheries sector development. And you can see the mission of Department of Fisheries. Actually, they support to sustainable growth in fish and shrimp production with other aquatic resources as well for domestic consumption as well as export earning and management of the open water fisheries resources. And if you consider what about the major role of this fisheries extension services, actually they impart training to the fish farmers and fishers to enhance their capacity. They supply technology to the fish farmers, especially the new technologies like fish breeds and best fish farming practices, and as well as the advisory services time to time that the farmers require. So these are the major role played by the Department of Fisheries. But still, there are lots of challenges faced by the fish farmers. Among them, the major is the limited resources, because I have already mentioned that Bangladesh is a very small country. We have limited resources, limited funding from the government, and limited number of extension staff, and limited infrastructure as well, because the linkage between research and extension is still very weaker in case of fisheries extension services, while in case of crop, this is really very bedrock. And another thing, the climate change, which is a big concern, and our colleagues have already mentioned the influences of climate change on our fish production, so I'm not going to cover that issues. And especially the disease outbreaks. This is very important issues. The fish diseases impact on the production, and it greatly affect the economic profitability of the fish farmers. So due to climate change, different fish diseases are coming very seriously in the recent time. And regarding the limited staff that I need to mention here, we have very limited number of fisheries extension workers, especially at the grassroots level. In sub-district level, only one Upazila fisheries officer and assistant fisheries officer, these two persons, and only 3 to 5 extension workers. They are responsible for covering all the fish farmers in that sub-district. Whereas in case of the crop extension services, more than 30 or 35 extension workers, they are deployed in the same areas. So it's a great limitations for the fisheries extension services to cover all the fish farmers. So this is very important to enhance the capacity of the extension workers working in the fisheries extension services. This is really very important to enhance their knowledge through time to time training, workshop, higher studies offering. These sort of things are very essential. So we need to focus also on their skill development so that they can enhance their skills, and especially the communication abilities, because extension workers need to communicate with the farmer frequently for time to time advisory services. And another important issue is very important. Most of the cases that government extension worker they are work in a bureaucratic setup, so they don't have the sufficient involvement. They don't have the liberty to work as per need. So they need to control by the higher authorities. That need to be also taken into consideration. So as a whole, I would like to propose some strategies for strengthening the fisheries extension services. The first thing, that higher amount of investment is needed from the government side, so that they can provide quality training to the extension workers and the fish farmers, and for developing the infrastructure facilities. As well as the technology adoption rate is also very low, so we need to utilize the mobile apps and online platforms that can cover and can make a easy communication with the farmers, and that will enhance the technology adoption rate. And at the same time, the public-private partnership is also crucial, because I have already mentioned that the public sector extension staff is very limited. So if they work together with the private sector, that can also give some support to the fish farmers. And from the technical competencies for the extension workers, this is important to impart them training on water quality management, diagnose and prevention of fish diseases, which is very crucial, and nutrition related information, especially how they can prepare the feed for the smallholder fish farmers. So these sort of issues need to be boosted up through training initiatives. And finally, this is very important for enhance the communication capacity of the extension workers. For the purposes, we can organize some sort of interactive workshops for getting the identifying the farmers' problem, as well as to inform them about the latest technological information. And in these connections, the mobile app is getting popularity for the farmers as well as for the extension workers, and they are trying to communicate with the fish farmers using different mobile apps. And for promoting sustainable aquaculture practices, we need to design the policy in a way so that we can support environmentally sound policies that will actually contribute in minimizing the environmental impacts of the fish farming in the upcoming days. Resource efficient. We need to be resource efficient so that we can guide or instruct the fish farmers in optimizing water and feed uses. And at the same time, we need to be socially responsible for ensuring fair labor practices and providing community benefits. Finally, I would like to conclude in a way that collaboration among different stakeholders like government, research institutions and private sector is very crucial. From the part of the government, policy support and regulations is very important, and that need to be in the as per need of the fish farmers. Research institutions need to generate new knowledges and appropriate technologies for the fish farmers in Bangladesh. And the private sector, they need to invest and market access for the smallholder fish farmers. That will really be very positive for increasing the aquaculture production and as well as fisheries sector development in Bangladesh. With these few words, I would like to conclude, and I would like to extend my heartiest thanks to all of you for your presence here. Thank you very much.
Excellent and very important work engaging with our stakeholders at the table.
Members. I'm welcoming all to my tiny presentation. This is not so impressive anyway, but let me try to say about some of the issues regarding the policies. As we came to know by this time that the teamwork we did and we have presented sequentially. And the last part of the objective was about the policy issues regarding the fisheries development in the three major river basins of Bangladesh. The title of the presentation is Harnessing Sustainable Restoration of Fisheries Ecosystem and Aquatic Diversity The authors, as usually, myself, Zulfikar Rahman, and other team members of our university, other team supported by the research of the AFAO for the Department of Fisheries. The background, we can say that policies, these are very important to create an enabling environment so that all the institutions and instruments that can work together in a nice way. So, the study plans formulated to guide and direct the future courses of activity and to facilitate delegation and authority across the various managerial levels and facilitate equality of action and coordination of efforts. With this source of background, the study actually tried to review the existing policy and regulatory framework to assess the impact of climate change on inland fishery ecosystem and propose areas for improvement of to enhance sustainable inland fishery production. Actually, the policies are limited, and we could get a chance to review some selected policies. These are environmental protection rules, national agricultural policy, national agriculture extension policy, national open water fisheries policy, and climate action plan. Regarding the environment protection rules, it is called popularly called as EPR 23, is formulated to achieve the objectives to pollution prevention, environmental impact, assessment, regulation for development initiatives, and environmental conservation, with the main issues of liability of ensuring locational and environmental clearance, environmental impact assessment survey, and determination of environmental standards, liquid waste disposal standard, industrial liquid waste department, and the administrative offense to regulate these issues. It suggests that the government role in protecting the environment is multifaceted, encompassing the legislative action, institutional oversight, and strategic planning. With this ongoing efforts to strengthen informers and communities and collaborate internationally and explore on the Bangladesh's direction to safeguarding its natural resources for current and future generation. Still, what is happening at least, the government remains committed to fostering sustainable practices and mitigating environmental challenges for developing strategies to reflect a commitment to finding sustainable solutions for harmonious coexistence and development and nature in Bangladesh. This is working, but we have some criticism regarding this policy because all the environmental issues are related to the development of the country, and especially Bangladesh is growing fast economically, so there are a lot of environmental critics, and it's very difficult to maintain these issues. And another policy is our national agriculture policy, which is actually an umbrella policy for crop production in Bangladesh. This agricultural policy is formulated to achieve safe, profitable, and sustainable food and nutritional security as the main goal. So it is with the objective that productivity, maintaining the production of crops, farmers' income, crop diversification, ensuring nutritious and safe food production, improving marketing system, and ensuring profitable agriculture and efficient utilization of natural resources. This policy actually, the development of agricultural sustainable technology, transfer of technology transfer and agricultural extension, agricultural inputs, agriculture empowerment, natural resource management, agriculture for special areas, specialized agriculture, and production of safe food and agricultural productions and youth in agriculture. What is actually reviewed that it lacks the common agenda where the extension services of crop, livestock, and fisheries sectors can work together to achieve greater requirements from common ground of natural resources like the water. I'm saying here because ultimately everything what is lost about the waterways, but the sectoral effort is very strong, but there is a lack of coordination. And inland water management is mainly centered towards crop production and management for crops. The rare fisheries dealing on fish production and management issues during the water management plans. Because for the crop production they are dealing with the land, but what is happening to the water they are not their major concern. But it is all the aquariums and other issues are going down actually the river courses. This is a very important thing, but it is not considered while in the plan. Agriculture importing is another thing. While it is using for the augmentation of the production in various aspects, but the effect is going down to the soil, air, and against to the water. And it has the long channel of flow reaching up to the Bay of Bengal, and they even to USA. And for production of safe food and agricultural produces, policies must consider water contribution with the use of toxic chemicals. It is very difficult once the water bodies and the soil is getting polluted. A limited scope for reclamation. So this is why the care should be taken, and the minimum emphasis has been given on these critical issues. National Agricultural Policy, it is a part of the extension policies, and it's reviewed in the recent days. It has improved, yet it is pivotal from effort designed to enhance the efficiency and effectiveness of agricultural extension services in Bangladesh. The policy covers mainly the inclusive and efficient extension services, strengthening institutional framework, integration of modern and traditional knowledge, focus on market inclusion and climate change. Still, there remains challenge. These are the very crucial issues for extension services and other agricultural services in Bangladesh. The challenge is the resource constraint, maybe it is human or other capital resources. And another thing is capacity building. In many issues with capacity for the infrastructure we mean, and sometimes the training, no. There are soft issues for the institutional other persons' capacity development as per the World Bank and FAO suggestions. Coordination and integration, as I mentioned earlier, that remain the coordination among the different advisory services. Professor Sarkar, he mentioned that, separately this is very strong, for example, the fisheries department or the livestock services in Bangladesh, and crop, it is the largest of one of the largest organizations in Bangladesh. Still the lack of cooperation among the agricultural advisory services in Bangladesh. That always is crucial, and we're saying that this analysis a lack of utilizing the extension policy yields mainly to shortcomings in integration of three main components, as I said, crop, livestock, and fish. This originates from the lack of integrated services of concerned advisory services organization, mainly the Department of Agricultural Extension, Department of Livestock Services, and Department of Fisheries, which is our major concern for this presentation. For effective implementation of the policy, farmers and entrepreneurs should work together along with the collaboration of concerned GOs and NGOs and universities as well. It lacks the effective collaboration among military ministries in working together, ensured by the ministerial decisions. Another policy is our National Open Water Fisheries Policy. This is formulated more than 25 years back. This policy is not yet revised, and this policy was introduced to the streamline and preservation of management and management, exploitation of fisheries resources across various water bodies, both inland and coastal. But the gap remains: the sectoral development constraints, policy implementation, and missing components and supporting policies. It's very important because when the water bodies, it has got the various administrative efforts and impact. So this is why coordination among the different policies is really lacking in Bangladesh. What we like to see here, the policy fails to adequately address the conservation of fish habitats and the integration of fisheries management with broader environment with broader environmental and water resource management. Another one is updating and expanding the policy to include ecosystem conservation, effective enforcement mechanism, and greater interagency collaboration is essential for revitalizing the fisheries sector and ensuring sustainable development in Bangladesh. The last one is popularly called CAF. This is the Flight Action Plan, formulated in 2017. So the Flight Action aims of the plan are to provide common solution to the recurrent flood problem and thereby to create an environment for sustained economic growth and social improvement. As already we came to know that it's the big delta basin having the impacts of many hundreds of rivers coming down from the China, India, or even from Nepal and other a huge inundation occurs in case of Bangladesh. For example, you can see that three major river basins. This is a really challenge. We work actually through these three basins. So once it is coming down, this is the flooded, this is the flooded, and sometimes the whole country is flooded. So it's a really we remain various challenges. I'm not going to that one. That at least for the plan, primarily works for the identified impacts of flood control on fisheries, open our historical programs, design mitigation measures to reduce or avoid losses in captured fisheries, recommended future research requirements. Although we are saying that ambitiously, but in reality it is different anyway. So in gaps, I'd like to mention that the inadequate determination of social and economic benefits of the flatfish fisheries sector and evaluation of the environmental changes to be brought about the flood protection and various works constructed under the concept of control planning. And the next one is lacking intense study of fish and shrimp production in selected flood-plain water resource, undetermined system, affected by existing flood control, drainage of irrigation or planned future flood control and work, almost undone fish stocking and impact mitigation measures to ensure continued high levels of fish production from flood protected areas. So here is that, I'd like to mention that as it's flood coming down from the different rivers, so once the floodgate is open in the upper streams, so we are flooding. So what plan you have, even the plan itself is wiping out to the Bay of Bengal. So what to do? This is the challenge we are facing now, still we are surviving, and I am talking in front of you as well. In conclusion, I would say that what we need, the alignment of sectoral policies and actions is very important. The policies do emphasize sectoral development, but without coordination with other relevant organizations. Thus, the concerned ministries and agencies should have integrated ways and means to work together in policy formulation and implementation. The second one is linkages and research and advisory services. The concerned policies have been stressing the linkages among the extension, research, and academic fisheries and the government policies and implemented by the Bangladesh Agriculture University. With these few words, I'd like to conclude my presentation and thank you very much.